Happy Monday morning! I am so glad that you guys are here today. We are going to be chatting all about, that's right, how do you know when you are working with the wrong student and how much is it costing you? So how much is that wrong student costing you? And how do you know if they're wrong student, right? I mean, those are the things that we are really going to dive on into today. I'm going to give you I'm navigating these waters as well, right alongside you with my own online reading tutoring business. So I'm going to be sharing today, some of the things that I'm personally kind of going through and some realizations that I've made because of that. So stay tuned. I want to personally welcome Tibase in our group here. We're so glad that you are here, my friend. We've got some of you guys, others who are joining us as well. Beth is in the house. So welcome you guys. Tell us who you are, where you're from. I want to give you a shout out. So, tell us who you are. The more that you show up online into these kinds of spaces, more people have that opportunity to be able to get to know you. So we're so glad that you decided to join us this morning and learn about, who is the right student for you, who's the wrong student for you, and how much is it costing you to work with that wrong student. We're also going to be taking questions about that topic and different types of payment systems. And Beth is going to be joining me for that as well. So glad that you guys are here. So first, we're going to chat about what do you do when a client asks you to work with a subject that you could teach it, but that you're going to have to relearn like a lot of the information in order to be successful with it. And I think this is a really big thing to really take into consideration, because when you work for an online tutoring company or a tutoring company in general, the more areas that you say that you can tutor, the more opportunities there are for you. But I'm going to guess that there are a lot of you who want to actually step away from working for the tutoring companies, and you want to work for yourself and maybe even start your own online tutoring company, like where you have other tutors working underneath you. When you have like that big long list of things that you can tutor, or a client, asks you if you're willing to tutor this or that, you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to say yes or no. But I want you to think about why you're saying yes. Sometimes we're saying yes because it's an opportunity for us to gain clarity. Do I enjoy working with clients like this? And if that's the case for you, go for it. I say definitely do it, because you're not going to gain that clarity on who your ideal client is unless you're working with a whole bunch of clients that are really the clients you don't like working with, right? So you got to really come to some clarity with that when you do that. Welcome, Beth. So glad you are here with me. So I was just sharing about, the difference really between working with a company and working with having your own company, where you get to make those decisions about who you're going to work with and who you're not going to work with. And what is it costing you when you say yes to kind of working with the wrong client? I was just sharing in the beginning, we really make those great aha moments and get clarity. Sometimes working with those wrong students in the beginning, and that's a really useful step. And so I really want to make sure that you guys, I'm not telling you can only choose one thing to tutor, stick with that for the rest of your life and you're done, right? Like, it's more like, I just want you to have clarity as to why you're doing what you're doing and how much it is going to cost you. So let's say you don't know a subject very well, but you feel confident you could figure it out. You're like, okay, yeah, I could figure that out. I took that class. I did pretty well in it in school myself. I could help another kid in that specific area. I'm going to guess you're going to have to plan. I'm going to guess that you're going to have to start thinking about what are some, you're going to have to go on back and you're going to have to reteach yourself. And right. How much time does it take you? Now, I took on a student. I said, they were an SAT student. And you know what? Honestly, if you can get good at SAT and ACT, those tutors can make some dang good money. So I was like, why not try it out, right? See if I like it, see if I can do it. And I charged the same as I did for my reading tutoring students. And I found out that it would take me about an hour in planning time to get ready for my SAT student. And I was just like, all right. And then I didn't really feel like confident as I was really helping them because I didn't know some of the answers myself. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of felt like a fraud in a way. Here I am, there's that imposter syndrome coming at us, right? Like, I don't know the answer to this. Like, I need like the answer key in order to even see if I have the right answer to this because I'm unclear myself.
I mean, and I feel like imposter syndrome will come to our business even when we are fully confident in, like, we know our exact ideal right client for us. And so, when we're working with potentially the wrong client, it's just elevated that much more. So
oh my gosh, for sure. And you start feeling that. You start feeling the stress of that. You start realizing, wait, I need to make sure I have the resources and I have the tools that are out there that I can be able to utilize. And sometimes with SAT, ACT work, tutors like their students to be able to do work in between sessions so they can take a look at the problems that they're struggling with. And I was having to do that, and then the student wouldn't always do the work. And so most of the time we were doing the work during the session. And, there's just like one thing after another. And, was I able to say that I guaranteed him a higher score? I don't even know what he got for his next score. I was just like, as soon as the mom said that she wanted to stop after 2 months, I was thinking, oh, thank God. Because what was it costing me in time? Okay. At that point in time, I was charging $60 an hour. Mm-hmm. So it was costing me $60 an hour to plan. Oof. Where I could have had another student filling that spot. That I wouldn't have had to think so hard and work so hard to try to get results for. Again, though, it was clarity for me. And so I stepped into the role to see, is this something I would be interested in? And it was really, really awesome. I know I will never step into the role of SAT, ACT tutoring again. So you're welcome, SAT and ACT tutors, because I will pass on any referrals to you guys.
Cue all the people in the chat.
Right.
I can do that. But
yep. Joanne's like, yep, I'm ACT, SAT for math. Bring it. And not Joanne, me, you guys, if you think I'm talking about myself. No, we're talking about Joanne Ventavogel. We just happen to have the same name, and because, the coolest people have the name Joanne.
Oh, of course. Just a given. But no, I think that clarity is super important. And for me, I started out, and you know this, Joanne, I started out tutoring both English as a second language and Spanish. And I did that for probably a good 6 to 8 months, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I kind of drove myself a little crazy trying to bounce back and forth between the two, market both of them, which was really hard. It's really hard to efficiently and effectively market two different subjects.
Right.
That are so, I mean, if they're both math related, for example, if they're algebra and calculus,
it's different, right? It's totally different. And you would almost think that, like, oh, I can tutor English and I can tutor Spanish. You would almost think that they're kind of similar too. But when we really started analyzing the specific needs of somebody who wants to learn Spanish and the specific needs of somebody who wants to learn English, their needs are very different.
Vastly different.
Right? But a kid who's struggling in calculus and algebra 1, well, we could say that there's enough marketing stuff, like, I don't feel like I'm very good at math. I don't feel like there's enough commonality for you to be able to couple and pair those two subjects together. Plus, if you only stick to one, let's say you just stick to one math topic, mm-hmm. you only have that topic a lot of times for 1 year. Right. So that would significantly decrease the amount of people you could help if you can help in other math topics as well.
Right. But for our math tutors, if they can, say, help in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Pre-Calc for, I'm just making it up. For my mastermind group, we've already made it clear I'm not a math tutor. So anyway, they can keep going with one student all the way through, mm-hmm. from the Algebra 1 all the way through to Pre-Calc or Calculus. And so they can really help that. I mean, they have the potential to really influence that child's whole high school career. So, and then the referral possibilities are endless with that as well. So,
Yeah.
But what I was thinking about with the marketing, for me, it was just way too different. To do more than one subject and work with the wrong client. So what I ended up doing was I really did some soul searching I really struggled because I was having a hard time letting go of my English students because I really did enjoy it, but I realized I had a heart for helping kids learn Spanish like I learned Spanish, and so that's what I ended up doing, and I'm glad now.
And it took time to gain that clarity. Like she said, it wasn't an overnight understanding. And she had to almost struggle with that marketing piece between going back and forth. And it's still not exactly the easiest to always market even just for one subject, right? So give yourself slack in the beginning. It is going to take you time to learn how to market. But if you market to multiple subjects at once, think of how much more you're doubling the time that it takes to market. And if you think you could just clump them together, you are not going to speak to any of your ideal clients.
No.
So it's costing you double the time that it would take you to market for one business. Now, for most people, for one tutoring business, it can take 10 hours a week to be marketing in the beginning. Do you want to spend 20 hours a week marketing so you have 10 hours in one topic and 10 hours on another topic? Do you want to create 2 Instagram profiles, one specifically for, let's say English, ESL, and another one for Spanish? Do you want to create 2 Facebook groups? Do you want to create 2 email lists? The list goes on and on and on, right? 2 freebies to get them on into your funnel so you have an email list. Most people are going to say, oh my gosh, no. So if you take all of your time that you're going to use in marketing just to the one type of client, you're going to have people who are going to ask you if you tutor other things, and then you can make a decision from there on what is going to be the best fit.
Yeah, I've gotten requests for not necessarily other subjects yet because, I'm still, getting my name out there and everything, but I've gotten requests for other levels of Spanish and all of that, even though I market specifically to parents of children. So it's a great thing. So yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. So we got some awesome people in the house. We've got Patricia Corcoran. She teaches reading. We've got Vivek, who teaches math. Joanne, who teaches math. Mavis as well is in the house. Woo woo. We've got Cabo. Hey, Cabo.
Cabo's from South Africa.
She is. Isn't that awesome? I love that we literally are talking to people all over the world right now, and they have the opportunity to see the perspectives that we have in the whole online tutoring world. It's so cool.
I think we have almost every continent represented in this chat right now. We have Europe, Africa, what else? We have Asia. Vivek's from India, if I remember correctly. So yeah, and of course North America. We just need
South America,
South American friends to.
Oh, Antarctica. Nobody lives in Antarctica. Okay, so that don't count. And then we've got Australia.
Yeah,
I don't think we have anyone in Australia. We do have people in Australia in our group.
Yeah, so it just always blows me away how not only can we get to know other tutors from all over the world, which blows me away every single day, but we can get to know students from all over the world.
Exactly. Which means that you no longer have to worry about your zip code as being really the defining factor on where you're going to get your students from. And it really opens up the opportunities for yourself and for you to be able to stand out as a person that people want to get information from, be taught by.
I know this is a little bit of a different angle on working with the wrong student, but can I bring a little bit of a different thing? Sometimes, at least for me, when I was first starting out, and I've talked to some other tutors who have been starting out, and I know this is a pretty common thing. We will, open up as many times as we possibly can in the beginning to work with anybody, we'll say yes to weekends. We'll say yes to, 11 o'clock at night. We'll say yes to any time possible just because we're desperate for students.
Yeah.
But those are the wrong students for us. And we have to realize that, we are in charge of our schedules now, and we can decide, the right students will come at the right times, and we don't have to panic and worry and, work at those terrible times. We need to be in charge of our schedules. We need to prioritize what we need to prioritize and all of that. So sorry, I just
No. I think time is really a good thing to be thinking about, because what does that cost? It's costing you sleep. It might not be costing you money, but it's costing you sleep. If you're having to wake up at midnight, I remember you telling me one time, I have a consultation at midnight, and I'm thinking, why? Why would you say yes to that? I'm hoping to fit them into another time. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, usually the consultation time is the time that they're available. So if that's when they're going to be available to work with you, and that is just not a good formula, right? So that if somebody is asking you for a consultation at that time, ask them if there's any other times that would fit with your time zones. Otherwise, they just might not be a good fit. It's okay to say no. The next right student is right around the corner. I promise you.
Absolutely, it is. And it was. You were right. Shocker. But no, it's so true. And because we are global businesses, we can work with people from all over the world, and we can find time zones that work for us. I mean, some people might really find that they work well with people in Europe or, different time zones. So
yeah, absolutely. And Mavis said, for me, it's Saturdays. What? In the beginning, I worked Saturdays and Sundays, and I organized it so I would work early in the morning on Saturdays, but I had the rest of the day on Saturday. And then I would work on Sundays, but I wouldn't work until the evening on Sundays. So I wouldn't actually start working until about 5 or 6 o'clock at night. At least it still gave me a 24-hour period where I wasn't working on my tutoring business. But today, it is completely different. I do not say yes to any students who want to work with me on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
Because I do need the time to be able to spend with my family. I am kind of crazy because I do take students at some crazy hours. I wake up early in the morning. Today, my schedule goes from 6 o'clock in the morning until 8:30 tonight. Now, I have a couple of breaks inside of there, but I had already said yes to a client that paid me for the entire year.
Yay.
And I know it was exciting, right? How can you say no to a $16,000 one check, right? You're like, wow, yeah, I'll take that. But it did mean that when this child was on breaks, I had to work with him 2 hours a day, one time at 6 o'clock in the morning and another time at 12:30 in the afternoon. And he's in the UK. So there are some days when I have to do the 2 hours a day where I'm like, oh my God, I gotta wake up early. I have to wake up early. I can't just do something that I want to do. I have to wake up early and I have to stop. I have to be on, which means I have to wake up actually even earlier in order to do that. I love working with the student. It's worth the sacrifice. And I think there's going to be times where you find that it's worth those sacrifices because you love working with the student so much. And sometimes working with a particular student trumps some of those other things, right? Mm-hmm. But that's a client that I've been working with for a really long time already. And so I know that about me. If it was a student that I did not enjoy working with, I don't think that it would have been so easy for me to say yes.
Right. You've been working with that family for 8 or 9 years, right?
8 years. Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Right. And I've been working with a particular child since he was 3 years old. He was going to turn 4 2 weeks later after I started working with him. So he was practically 4 years old, and he is now 8 years old.
Wow.
So I've been working with him for 4 years. I mean, our personalities are they match. He's hilarious. He makes me laugh. It's a really good fit for me because I just think he's the sweetest kid in the world. Even when he's being naughty, I can't really be truly mad at him. I have to put on my tough teacher face because he can get too comfortable with me, and Dad can hear it sometimes, and he's just uh-oh, I see that Youssef's not doing what he's wanting. I'm like, yeah, I just had to play a little rough I had to be a little rougher on him so that he could do what he needed to do and he could concentrate and focus. Because we have a very relaxed relationship, but I don't want to be so relaxed he doesn't get what he needs out of the sessions.
Of course.
All right, so now I got to describe another situation to you.
Yeah.
Now, this is a current situation that's happening. Very difficult family.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all going to have them, you guys. Everybody has difficult families, okay? Sometimes you have those families, though, they just start tipping the box, right? Like, I don't even know, like, how to explain it. But I usually do 30-minute sessions and hour sessions. And they wanted to do 45-minute sessions. And I said yes. Now, that was mistake number one. Lots of mistakes are inside of this equation I'm going to be sharing with you. Mistake number one was saying yes to 45-minute sessions. Why? I was charging this client, I'm charging them $75 an hour because they've been with me for over a year. I hadn't raised my rates yet, and I didn't raise my rates on them. They're on a special grant as well, and so that's why I also keep the rates down low. It's a grant from Florida. Okay, anyway, we take that $75. We need to now divide that by 4 to then multiply that number by 3. So $18.17 times 3. I'm getting paid $56.25 to work with a client for 45 minutes. I now charge $100 an hour.
Yikes.
Okay. Which means that it is costing me, if we do the math, if we do $43, it's costing me $43 to work with her. Because I could be working with, I have so many clients coming in to say they want to work with me. I could be working with another client at the $100 an hour.
Yeah.
So it's costing me $43 to work with them.
Right, and you can't fit another person into that time slot. So
I can't fit another person into a 15-minute time slot because I got a student right on the hour.
Right, exactly.
So there's no way to really solve that. And there's nowhere I could put them in my schedule where a 45-minute session would work. I would have to have 2 clients that have a 45-minute session in order to make that work, and they'd have to be like back to back. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's only a piece of it.
Oh, no.
I know. It gets worse. They often cancel last minute.
Yikes.
And then they want a reschedule.
Yep.
So now they're taking up 2 1-hour slots where I could be making $200 an hour. I'm only making $56.25. And it's costing me $143.75. Now, I'm not done. Mom started a night class. And she hasn't given the responsibility to Dad to get her daughter on. For a long time, I was just texting the mom if she didn't show on up. Because I knew she was going to be a reschedule, right?
Right.
Which was going to take up 2 hours of my time. I'm done with this family. I'm just done. So I'm just like, I am not contacting them. And I wanted her to get mad. And she didn't. And so I'm like, oh. So then she messaged me and she's like, well, can we have a refund for the sessions that we didn't get? Because I had no time slots to give her a reschedule.
Right.
So I just said, you know what? I'm going to be honest right now. I think right now, maybe it's best if we just take a break for a little while.
Yeah.
Like me trying to break up with them. I feel like I'm trying to break up with like a boyfriend and girlfriend here. Maybe it's better if we just take a break. When you're done with your class, we can focus again on her reading. Like, look, if you can't get her on, and then you're going to want a refund. I mean, I'm just kind of done at this point because I'm like, I have a waiting list of students at this point who I could be working with that would show up. I didn't necessarily say it in those words. I just said, at this point in time, I just think it might be better. Like, it's just bad timing right now for the tutoring. And maybe we should wait until it's a better time. And she's like, oh, no. I promise we're going to get better. We're going to get better. Could you just text me if she doesn't show up? So I messaged back. And now I'm not nice. I'm not a mean person, I don't think, but I was very direct. I said, I can text you, but if she doesn't show up, I will not be able to give a refund and I won't be able to give a reschedule. Mm-hmm. And she said, I promise we're going to get better. I was was hoping, like, I was kind of giving her some outs
Uh-huh.
and hoping that she would take one of the outs. I wasn't direct enough.
Oh boy.
I needed to just say, I don't think this is a good fit right now. Would you like some ideas of other tutors that might be able to help her better at this time? Not only that, you guys, I honestly don't enjoy working with this particular child.
Oh no.
I know, and that doesn't happen often. And she's very sweet. I mean, at the end of the session, she even says, thank you, which many students don't even say. It's that she has so many different things that are just coupled with her situation. And so we spend a lot of our time working on vocabulary versus the reading, and the mom wants us to focus on phonics. And I try to explain to the mom, if she doesn't have the meaning of a word in her head, and we try to get her to phonetically sound it out, there's nothing there to be a cue to jump that word into her head. Mm-hmm. She's going to say it phonetically, and she could be off on just one beat. But if you don't know the meaning of the word, you're not going to understand. I'm like, usually if she does the spot and dot, she breaks it up. She's able to read it. But if she doesn't have the meaning of the word in her head, it doesn't come out sounding right.
Right.
I said, so the not sounding right is a piece of it, but the bigger piece of it that we always have to tackle first is the vocabulary. And the mom's like, well, she's already got somebody who's working on the vocabulary with her speech teacher. And I said, that's awesome, but I can't do my job as a reading teacher without her knowing the vocabulary we're tackling in the book we're reading.
Right.
So lots of things kind of going on with the situation. And I just want you guys to really know, like, look, we all deal with this. It's hard because you do develop relationships with your students. Mm-hmm. And so when things start to happen, it does become more difficult. And so that's when we got to start listening to our gut.
Patricia Corcoran was asking, do you have a policy for that? I'm thinking
I do. I just haven't been very strict on it.
Oh, yeah.
In the beginning, like, especially like new clients, I will be pretty, with new clients, I'll say, you know what, when I get a new student, this happens a lot in the beginning. So yes, you can do a reschedule. She just ended up abusing my niceness. Yeah. And I usually haven't had to, like, most of my clients are like, don't worry, I'll pay for the session. Don't worry about it. It was our fault. Most of my clients are really cool about it. Again, though, we've been talking about this a lot. Like some of those parents that they do have less money. She's on a grant from Florida. And so she gets a certain amount of money reimbursed because her daughter is getting it. So I've now decided I don't want to take more students that have that grant because they are kind of messing around with the system a little bit more and trying to play it. So, and I just don't have time in my schedule anymore. And that's a great place to be.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about payment systems as well, but we didn't get there. I think it's kind of, yes, it's so easy to get lenient. I hear you. And when you do get lenient, you want to be lenient, especially when you have you do have the opportunity to make up the time. But if they're doing it often, it is costing you the time that you could be working with another student. As you grow your business and you get it booked solid, you start realizing that pretty soon that it's costing you another whole hour to do that.
Yeah.
So it can be some tough decisions we have to kind of maneuver as tutors. Hey, did you notice something in my background, Beth? Yeah. What do you notice?
The hoodoos?
No, not the hoodoos. Look up.
Look up.
Look at the sky.
The blue sky. Yeah, the blue sky.
What do you notice about the clouds?
Wait, they're moving.
Yes. How cool is that, right? This is actually an image that I took I'm going to be teaching you guys next Monday how to create a background like this.
What?
Blow your mind away, right? So this is just a still image that I created, and then I got those clouds to be moving. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that next week. So definitely come join us so that you can learn how you can create cool backgrounds like that. And this week, we've got an exciting week. If you haven't signed up, I didn't grab the link. I don't know if you can grab it real quick. But we are on Wednesday having an amazing webinar with Jessica Pizzold, who's going to be sharing how you can catch people's attention in the first 5 seconds with your video so that more people want to watch the whole thing and not just like they start to see you talk and they like exit on out. So we want people to listen to it the whole way. You want to find out tips on how to do that, then definitely come join us. Beth is going to throw the link on in there, and then I'm going to copy it and throw the link on inside for you YouTube people. Then on Thursday, we're going to be chatting with an insurance guy. His name is Steve Van Lagerenberg, and he is an insurance guy. And I know that a lot of you guys are, you're in a position now, especially if you've left the teaching system, maybe you don't have a spouse who you can get on their insurance with, and you're wondering, what do I do about insurance? We're going to be diving deep into that. What are some things that you need to be looking for? How can you choose the right one? How do you apply? All of those answers are going to be given to you. So definitely come join us on Thursday at 11:30 a.m. And let me grab this link right here so my YouTube folks have it as well. Boom.
If I'm not mistaken, Steve is related to someone in our very own.
He sure is. Nancy Van Logerenberger, who's another online reading tutor of CES Tutoring. Yeah, she was. We were just chatting. I've been coaching her one-on-one, and we were chatting about what her husband does. He's from Australia. Oh my gosh, you guys have to just join me just to hear his accent. It's amazing. Just listening to him talk, hey, there we go. We'll have Australia on the map on Thursday, guys. Because he's not in Australia right now, but he's from Australia. So that's like technically the same thing, right? He has Australia blood and he still has the accent. So that's going to be an awesome conversation. Definitely join us for that. And then we got some Clubhouse fun happening as well. We're going to be talking about how to get online tutoring students tomorrow. Check out the times inside of Clubhouse. We've got... Then we're going to be talking about, are you charging enough for your tutoring services on Wednesday? And then on Friday, do you have a sustainable online tutoring business? And what are some ways that you can add some recurring income to supplement some of the stuff that you are doing once you do have the amount of students that you want to be able to work with? So awesome stuff. A lot of free content this week. Come and join on in. And thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me, Beth.
Yeah, thanks for having me. All right.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye.